Greetings and salutations. Hi guys, it's been a hot minute, sorry about that. Today's video is going to be another change my mind video. I know that's a dead meme now, but I started naming these videos when that meme was alive, and now I feel like it's like honestly it's becoming a series. But we're doing another analysis of a character that is heavily coded to be, well, I think gay, but like LGBT of some capacity. No, this character specifically is like gay. My channel is just becoming me talking about gay characters and gay ships. That's very on brand, but love that for me. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Will Byers from Stranger Things. I don't have a heap of evidence for this one. Like with Eddie, I know that I went through like a lot from the book, and I missed a lot. After rereading it, there was a lot of things that hinted at sexuality that I did not mention in that video. I may do an updated one. I may do an updated one for Ready too. But with Will, there's not a whole heap of evidence. It's a lot of like little things, but when you add them all together, it's a pretty solid case. Starting off with episode 1, when Will first goes missing and Joyce is talking to Hopper about the fact that he's missing, and Hopper goes, you know, he's probably just ran away, he's probably off smoking with the kids or whatever he says, and Joyce is like, no, he's not like that, he's not like other kids, you know, other kids will call him the F slur, I'm not gonna say it, which, you know, it's the 80s and they, you know, if a boy was feminine at all, or no, not if a boy was feminine. If a boy wasn't a hyper masculine, that is a common sort of thing that was said about them in the 80s. But when Hopper asks if it's true, Joyce doesn't give it any time of day, doesn't like think it over, doesn't deny it, just immediately is like, who the fuck cares, he's missing. Which I think maybe is telling in the fact that she didn't deny it. Maybe her being a good mom and just being like, who cares, focus on what's important, my son is missing. Or it could have been her already having an inclination and not wanting to entertain the idea that that was a bad thing or that made him less valuable as a person. Also in season 1, there is the bullies at school. I think it's Troy and someone else are their names. It's been a long time since I've rewatched season 1. I think their names are Troy and something. They say a lot of nasty things about all of them. Their insults to Will are also always surrounded by this idea of him being LGBT or queer. Also, I know call him a fairy, and when they're confronting, they're like trying to piss off Mike about it, and they're like, yeah, I bet he's up there with all the other fairies, I believe, which was an insult against gay men very commonly in that time period. I believe someone calls Eddie that in the It novel as well. So just, we don't really, I guess that's not really used anymore. I've personally never seen that used, but I am a female, not a male, so I wouldn't have had that insult be used against me. It is planting the idea in our heads of this, you know, idea of Will not being straight or Will being gay. I believe Steve, while fighting Jonathan, also says a slur about Will. I believe he may use queer as a slur, which obviously thank God we have the character development we have with Steve and Steve's acceptance and, you know, getting to him being absolutely cool with Robin being gay in season 3. But I believe, yeah, when Steve's fighting Jonathan, he says something about Will, and I believe it is the Q slur. If I'm wrong, I will put in a little editing me clip here. Hi, editing Ashlee here. He doesn't call Will queer, he calls Jonathan queer. So, ignore this argument. This, I don't know if there is proof of this, but it is very common knowledge among like the fandom, and what went around was like a screenshot of like an information page saying that in an early script, Will was described as being, I can't remember the exact wording, I think it is like confused about his sexuality or sexually confused or questioning his sexuality, something like that. There was like a fact sheet sort of photo going around, so I can't verify how real that was. I don't see that it wouldn't be, because there are so many there are so many instances in season 1 of people everyone around Will assuming this about him, so they're very well, that it doesn't surprise me if that was a real thing. However, I cannot verify it. I could sit down and analyze a lot of the Will and Mike scenes in season 2, a lot of the Byler stuff. I'm not going to do that because I am personally not a Byler shipper. If I was making this video just after season 2, I probably would have, but after season 3, I'm so mad at Mike about that comment Mike makes, so I'm not going to go into any of that very well. I do think Will is harboring feelings for Mike, and I think that is implied. May not be accurate. I'm not going to go into that. I'm definitely not going to go into anything Mike says to Will, because while that may, you know, like the fucking greatest decision I ever made or whatever, talking about going up to Will in kindergarten, that may come into play in later seasons. Right now I don't think Byler is going to be a thing, so I don't think anything there was really intentional. However, I don't know if you guys have read this, but in the script for the Snowball, I'm going to try and remember the exact phrasing. I didn't write it down, which is stupid, but I believe there's a part of the script for episode 9 of season 2 that is, Will is dancing with a cute girl, but his eyes aren't on cute girl, they are on ... Mike, who is dancing with 11. I believe that's the correct phrasing, could be wrong. It is of the same nature. It is Will. Basically, the gist of it is Will is not looking at cute girl, he is looking at Mike, who is dancing with 11, or looking at 11, or whatever. He's interested in 11. That's the gist of that, which is quite telling that that was written into a script, therefore was important, and was, you know, something they really wanted to get across, the fact that Will is dancing with a cute girl, but he's not focusing on the girl, he is focusing on Mike. Whether that is in a friendship way, it's not in a friendship way. Why would it be in a friendship way? Moving on. Another thing in season 2 is just, this is a bit stupid, but the fact that Joyce is talking about, like, all his art projects when he's, you know, possessed by the mind flayer, and just goes, you know, you made your own ship and it was a rainbow ship. It's a bit gay, Will. So, season 3, I feel like we all know what the big hint in season 3 was, but I'm going to try and dissect it a little bit. Very early on, when Jonathan is, like, running late because he's been, you know, in his room with Nancy, and Will goes, that's gross, and Joyce goes like, well, you won't think that's gross when you fall in love, and Will just goes, I'm not gonna fall in love. And that, I think, is less of Will never wanting to fall in love with anyone, and a lot more of Will having every relationship he's ever seen is between a guy and a girl, and he knows that he's not going to fall in love with a girl. He's not interested in girls, therefore he doesn't think it'll happen. I think that's more so what's happening there, which is kind of really heartbreaking. I feel for Will's little gay heart, but I think that was kind of implied there. Will really doesn't like any of his, like, friends or his brother being in relationships in this season, and part of it is due to loneliness and him still wanting to be a kid and him growing up at a slower pace than everyone else, which is a big fucking gay mood. In saying that, he also, you know, he wants a day free of girls and stuff, but he never had an issue with, like, Mike or Elle being around before. It's only when they're in relationships and they're taking the attention away from his friends. It's like, he is fine with them all hanging out as friends. He's not okay with them being lovey-dovey in relationships, especially he shows a lot of distaste towards Mike and Elle, probably more so than Lucas and Max. That could be because Lucas and Max are a lot less super involved with each other than Mike and Elle are this season. I think there could be, you know, some Byler stuff there. But moral of the story, Will does not fucking like the fact that his friends are all in relationships, that Lucas is in a relationship, Dustin has Susie, and, you know, Mike's very invested in just giving all his attention to Elle. And we have come to my final point, the thing that made me want to punch Mike Wheeler in the face more so than I've ever wanted to before, and that is saying something because I don't like Mike Wheeler that much. It's not my fault you don't like girls. That's the heaviest subtext I've ever heard. I physically recoiled when he said it because I wasn't expecting anything that blunt and any hint at Will's sexuality that huge. Me and my drama class the other day, my teacher just finished watching Stranger Things, and we were all talking about that, and we were all like, yeah, that's a major hint that Will's gay. Like, a whole class, everyone who had seen the show was like agreeing. Mike may not have even known what he was saying, but I think that, you know, Will reacted to that very harshly. And I think the reason was because this, for Will as well, is someone who he trusted, who looked after him so much during season 2 and who he felt really comfortable around. And then this is something that Will was, you know, probably massively insecure about. I know when I was growing up and I didn't really have crushes, I was so insecure about that and so scared of what that meant. I think Will would be the exact same, and so hearing this be said in the tone that it is, because it's not said by Mike in a nice tone, would be like a slap in the face. And I think it was a wake-up call for almost both of them, that Will doesn't just not like, you know, not like relationships. Will doesn't like girls. I just think that's very clearly that this will be a storyline later on. I think this will be followed through with. I think that quote specifically is something that will be played on later on, and maybe even if Robin and Will ever cross paths again and as discussion about Robin's sexuality comes up, I don't know, I just think that could cross paths again. And we have now established that this is a popular television show that isn't afraid of putting in LGBT representation, which, thank you Lord, but they're not afraid of giving that rep. Therefore, we're not reaching at straws. This is something that very clearly could actually turn into something. So I think there is like a strong case to be made for Will's sexuality. I hope that the Duffer Brothers do continue with this storyline and do give young boys especially this representation. And just any young LGBT plus person watching the show, it would be cool to have a character who is so young have a storyline like this on a show that is so popular. I think that's very important. I think that Robin's sexuality is very important. That meant a lot to me watching it. But I think, yeah, this could be delved into and this could be made a bigger thing and could be really cool for young people seeing it, seeing someone their age go through this development on screen. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, you know, if you didn't like it, because YouTube algorithm just sees any engagements as positive engagements. Talk to me in the comments if you think any of this is true. If you don't, let's have a nice, friendly, adult discussion about it. This is all pure speculation. If you don't see any of it, that's cool. I do, and we can agree to disagree, and we can talk about why we do or don't believe in it without being mean to each other. Thank you. Also, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. This channel is not something I do like really for people to watch it. I basically just make videos about things I want to talk about, and either like my IRLs are too annoyed about it or no one I know will understand what I'm talking about. So I basically just do this to be able to say things, and so the idea that anyone watches that and enjoys that, and the fact that 1,000 people have subscribed to this channel, that's really cool. So thank you very much for subscribing. I hope you kind of like seeing me ramble on about the things that I like every now and then. Also, if anyone has video suggestions, you can always comment those. I'll probably do them. I would upload more if I had more things to say. Love you very much, and I'll see you soon. Mwah!